Hello, and welcome to this Deaf Awareness training course. This course is offered to you by Through the Roof, and we sign Through the Roof like this, okay? I want to explain to you about what if you were to meet a deaf person and you're out of your depth, you don't know what to do. Well, this video will help you to be prepared for that when you meet a deaf person face to face. First, let me explain. There are 4 parts to this video. The first is an introduction, which is brief. The second covers the topic of how to communicate with a deaf person. The third gives you a variety of communication tactics. They're not all the same. There's a variety of them, and I'll go into some depth. And the fourth is a link with spiritual issues and spiritual well-being. So first of all, let's look at the introduction. Perhaps you think that you meet a deaf person and, well, they're all the same. No. All deaf people vary. They're individuals and they have different communication needs. They're not all the same. Some people are born deaf and some people become deafened later in life. Most are born deaf, and then maybe some of them will acquire visual loss as well. And it can be the other way around, of course. So they can be born blind and later become deafened. Some people are full and proficient sign language users, and others are good at lip reading, and this varies. We're not all the same. And it's good to realize that. Now we're going to the second point, how to communicate with a deaf person. When a deaf person comes to your church and what are you going to do? Panic? No. The best thing to do is to smile, wave, hello. Just have a smile. And that will help the deaf person to feel welcomed. Perhaps you talk to somebody and you recognize or they indicate to you that they're deaf. Ask the person, the first thing to ask them is, can you lip read? Point to your lips because gesture is really important. Can you lip read me? They may reply positively, but not all deaf people can lip read. Oh no. So what if that person really doesn't understand what you're saying? Well, try repeating it in a different way. For example, hello, how are you? Didn't understand that. Okay, are you okay? Yes. Keep it simple. Try different ways. But if communication just breaks down and you're stuck and you can't sign, what can you do? Well, use a pen and paper. Have it ready, write something, show it to them, and then hopefully, for example, you could say, welcome to my church, and give the name of your church, or your own name and write that. Give it to them so that they can write back to you. But, well, some deaf people, their first language is sign language. And, English hasn't been something that they've learnt very well. So be patient with them. And particularly because the order of the words is different in English, and they have to really try and work out what you're saying before they realize, okay? And some people are really good at reading and writing, and it's not a problem for them, but some struggle with English. And that's not their fault because, well, they may have had very poor education when they were growing up. So what if they really don't understand you? They don't understand English? You can use gesture. You need to perhaps say to them that you're sorry that you don't know sign language, and ask them to teach you, they might be happy to do that. Some of them are happy, but sadly, there are a few who are rather, you have to give me an interpreter. Accept that. You can book an interpreter for the next time they come. Ask them, write down for them, do you want to meet the minister? And if they reply positively and they want to have a chat, well, it's best to ask them, do you need an interpreter? If they say yes, sort it out. So you might be thinking, how on earth do I contact an interpreter? Well, I'll give you more information on that later on, okay? If that person's really not understanding what you're saying, try and do it in a different way. For example, how can I help you? Don't know. Me? Help you? How? Vary it. And usually when we're talking to a deaf person, they like to have the topic first and then the explanation, okay? If that person wants to have a look at your church service, invite them in. Go with them. Take a seat with them. Make sure that they feel comfortable. It's better to be with somebody. Have a conversation. So you can point, you don't need to speak, but you can point and mouth to them what's going on. Keep it brief, just short phrases or little words. And if you want to, of course, you can write things down and keep pointing. If they're really struggling, that's okay. Get them to go with you, offer them a coffee or a tea, have a little chat, use a pen and paper, and tell them that next time they come, you will provide an interpreter, okay? But if that person has a visual field loss, they may come with somebody else. That's okay. Please do not talk to the carer. Talk directly to the deaf person. Ask how you should communicate with that person, and that will be explained to you. Perhaps you need to have them looking directly at you because their field of vision has been reduced. And you need to ask the carer to sign for you what you're saying, okay? So I've already explained to you the introduction and how to communicate with a deaf person. And now we'll look at the third option, which is about a broad range of communication tactics, okay? The first one we're going to look at is sign language. And there are actually two different types of sign language. One is full British Sign Language, and the other is what we call sign-supported English. And it combines signing with oralism. Okay? So people who sign as they're growing up, they have their own identity and their own culture. And for them, it means that they will need an interpreter. And we should offer that service, a fully qualified interpreter. But perhaps there might be somebody in your church who knows a little bit of sign language. Encourage them to come because it will benefit them. They can be taught to improve their sign language. The deaf person may even teach them. So that's sign language. The second is oralism, lip reading. And some deaf people like to lip read. They do not want to sign, and that's okay. It means that when somebody's speaking, there's no voice. You can use gesture to help. Third is deaf-blind manual alphabet. This is where we use sign language letters on the hand. And it's appropriate for people who have English, who've grown up and know English and they have some understanding, but it's not appropriate for all deaf people. Some people are, not everybody's born deaf blind. Most people will actually become blind after they've been signing for a while, or they're deaf for a while. So deaf people who use hands-on sign language, hands-on signing is appropriate for people who have been using sign language and then become visually impaired, and they will use that naturally. This includes the deafblind manual alphabet within hands-on signing. So some deafblind people have no understanding at all of sign language and they don't know the deafblind manual alphabet. So what do they use? It's called block, and we simply draw out the letters of the alphabet on the hand. It's a way of communicating which is quite slow and drawn out, but it's worth doing because it makes the person feel included. And also there are some deaf people who use something different, and this is called cued speech. It means that as people are speaking, they use hand shapes at the side of the mouth to help the deaf person so that they can improve their English, and it helps them with improving their lip reading skills. And it's their choice. When we offer communication services, it's really important that we don't expect everybody to be the same. We have to ask the individual, how can I help you? What's the best thing for you? And they will explain to you. They might say, I want an interpreter because I use sign language. And that's okay, just provide that service. If you're floundering and wondering, oh dear, how do I contact an interpreter? Well, there are a couple of organizations that can support deaf churches who have a deaf person come to them, and it's a hearing church and they need some support to improve access. So I'm going to explain about these two organizations, one of which is called Signs of God. And they have a list of interpreters, some of which are fully registered, qualified interpreters from all over the UK with a variety of backgrounds, and some of them are trainees. So you can go to them and say, we have this deaf person that's come to our church, and can you provide somebody to interpret? And they'll offer you that service. If there's a problem, you may need just to be persistent, and eventually somebody will be found. So they have their own website, Signs of God website. And now we're going to talk about another organization that's called Go Sign. That's another organization. It has trustees who are deaf and hearing, and they support any church all over the place, all over the UK, anyone that's struggling to support a deaf person in their church. They have their own events, which are organized by deaf people. And they have youth work, and they encourage all sorts of activities. And within this, there's a group called Deaf Youth for Christ, which is a brilliant organization which supports young deaf people from about 12 to 19, possibly a bit earlier. And I think that's everything I'm going to explain to you now about tactics, okay? I hope that's helpful for you. So let's put that aside. We've done the introduction. We've talked about how to communicate with a deaf person. We've looked at communication tactics. And now the last one, the fourth point, which is about spiritual needs, prayer health. And I'm going to keep this brief. When a person who is deaf comes to you and asks for prayer, please don't ever, never, ever, ever put your hands on their ears without asking them. They will be shocked, frightened, panic, because, well, deaf people, some of them, they grow up, it's their way is to be deaf, and they're happy with that. You can ask that person first if you're allowed to. No touching, don't do anything like that. Don't ask them if they want to be healed without their approval, because they may have come to you to ask for spiritual help. So they may have emotional needs or spiritual needs. They may have a desire for some wisdom to deal with a particular problem or situation. Don't force them, because deaf people are valuable to God. I have a couple of verses that I think will help you with this. The first is a verse that I think you'll know. He uses the word world. It's from John 3:16. He says, God so loved the world that he gave his son Jesus, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but will have eternal life. The world, that includes deaf people, just as they are, just as they are. Doesn't matter, God loves them. We don't need to change them. We need to nurture them and encourage them, just as they are. So the second verse I have is from the Old Testament, from way back in Leviticus. It's in chapter 19 and verse 14. It's brief. I'm not doing the whole verse. It says, do not curse the deaf. Do not curse the deaf. Does that just mean deaf people? No. It means people that don't listen to God, people who are deaf towards God, people who are ignorant of God. So it doesn't mean just deaf people. We have a responsibility to help deaf people and nurture them to grow in their relationship with the Lord. And now we've covered everything. I hope that this video will help you and your church. Please, if you do have, well, any questions or thoughts about this video, any issues that you want to ask, how you can help, well, please contact Through the Roof. This organization can help you, and they know the best way to answer your questions. If they get stuck or have questions, well, they can ask a deaf person like me or some other deaf person, okay? So thank you so much for joining with me on this course, and I hope you've learned something new. Thank you, and may God bless you.